Now, let me die alone. There are several themes ranging from theme of betrayal. We also have the theme of ambition. Ambition is a major theme here. Ambition, it's a major theme in the play. Okay, let's start with the ambition and desire to govern. The theme of ambition and desire to govern. Where do we find that in? We find that in 3 characters. Madam Yoko, Lamboy. Okay, I think 2. Because Lamboy and Musa worked hand in hand. 2 characters, ambition and desire to govern. Now you see, let's give. Yeah, she had a desire to govern. She was the one who reminded her husband of a promise he made to her years ago. Of a promise he made telling her that he was going to pass on the chiefdom. But then the husband along the line, I think he kind of, failed to keep to that promise. He felt like war was ravaging the community and the community needed a strong male figure, a strong man to actually speak for them. Felt like the community did not need a woman. So he told her he was going to compensate her with cattle. I think we'll find that in the text. Move with me. Of course, you're supposed to be with your text before we listen to this lecture. If you're not with your text right now, pause this video and go and get it. Okay, I want to believe I know where I can find this. Yes. He said, look, woman, page 7. Look, woman, if Senahun is to survive, a man must lead her. Like a typical African society is a patriarchal society. So it's not a society that actually recognizes women as leaders. Even now, it's just now that we have a number of women in the House of Representatives, and that is really commendable. Yes, women are now speaking up for us. You get? Now, come now. There are other riches you will outlive me to enjoy. Come, let me once again enjoy the spring in those steps. Steps that will thrill me no more when I'm gone to the land of my noble ancestors. You could see Yoko. On page 6, he told him, we do, my lord. Remember, you made a promise a long time ago that at the time of your death, the chiefdom passed into my hands. She wanted to govern. I feel like she knew she had it in her. I feel like the desire had always been there. She knew, man, I have to be a leader. I am born for this. I can do this. And you could see the desire to govern. But will you tell me, hers wasn't coming from a selfish place, unlike Lamboy's. Hers was coming from a place of care, a place of sacrifice, a place of, wanting to do right by her people. Now, and so that was where her ambition wasn't selfish. It's okay to be ambitious. Of course, we don't want to be remain in the same spot forever. Her ambition wasn't a selfish one. She had good ambition. She wasn't wicked. She wasn't selfish. She wanted to do right by her people. Now let's look at Lamboy. What was Lamboy's excuse? Lamboy felt like his sister, probably is her elder brother. He was like, why will my own sister? Of course, why would my own sister be ruling when I'm there? It's like a slap on his face. Are you getting it? It's like a slap on his face. So he didn't feel why his sister should rule, and that was why he went to connive. He wanted to govern. He wanted to be the ruler by all means, and so he wanted to get rid of Banya because he knows that Banya listens to his wife. Banya is someone that listens to his wife. Whenever the wife says a thing, he considers it. He takes his wife's words inside under advisement. He is not one of those men that shove it. It's just women talk. There's some men that you tell them to you just women talk. It's not so necessary. Banya wasn't one of those men. Now see Lamboy, let's go to page 9. He said, look, Musa, this is not just for my sake, it's for the sake of the people. Blatant lie, yes. Unrepentant liar. That is who Lamboy is. Because we all know he was doing it for himself. Selfish ambition, selfish interest to govern, just so that he could be king. You understand? He said, look, go to page 10. He was saying, I fear that woman, Yoko. If he lives longer, she might be able to convince him to pass the chiefdom to her. And with war threatening each passing moment, with enemies surrounding us, it is necessary that a man should succeed Banya, not a soft woman. Now this is where the argument comes into play. Was she soft after all? Though he tried to frame her up and all. But he didn't succeed in killing her. She killed herself. So are we going to say she was soft after all? What do you think? It's not like a soft woman who has music in her ears, itchy dancing feet, and legs wide open for a man. You can imagine that, a woman can't lead, and that was just his reason, his desire to govern. So you can see ambition, selfish ambition. That boy was selfish. He went all the way to, by killing the king because of his desire to govern. You know what he did? He framed his sister up because of his desire to govern. Selfish ambition, just so that he could be on top, he could win number one. One thing I want you guys to know, one advice I have for you all is, you see the sky is so big. Millions of flies can hover around the sky. The sky is just our starting point. We could all fly to the sky together, but our wings does not have to touch each other. It's so big, it can accommodate us all. He doesn't necessarily have to be king to be relevant, but he just didn't want a woman to lead. Selfish desire to govern. That was Lamboy. He succeeded in framing his sister, wrecking her psychologically, emotionally. He succeeded in all that, and of course, history told us that he later got the crown. That is the part we don't like. Now let's look at the theme of betrayal and deception. Betrayal. Just the same character, Lamboy. Lamboy betrayed his sister, he betrayed the people, he betrayed the kingdom. The king, what does it mean to be a patriotic citizen? You're ready to lay your life, you're ready to defend your country's honor. That's why I respect our soldiers. Our soldiers go all the way. By defending the country's honor, we also do that to the best of our abilities. And that is what Lamboy should be. But can you say that instead, he was a traitor? Musa also. Betrayer. Musa is the eye of the gods. The people revere him. The people reverence him. They're like, oh my God, see the Ezemo. He has message from the gods for us. The people respect this guy. They call Musa. But his actions were questionable. He betrayed the same people who entrusted the divinity to his hands. That was really horrible. Musa is a horrible character. Has questionable character, and of course he worked hand in hand with Lamboy to betray the people. Of course, killing our king is a form of betrayal. Yes, you can't kill our leader and tell us you're with us. You are not with us. You're not with us. Then we can see, but of course, the law caught up with them after it was revealed that they did everything. Of course, the people would definitely turn against them. Then deception. If you can notice in towards, I think is this 60, there was this page, yes, page 67, where Musa was telling Lamboy, he said, Lamboy, the seed has already started germinating. You know how women like to gossip. I met a group of them searching for the girl in the bush this morning when I went to collect some herbs. I planted it in their minds. Deception, making it look like it was the queen, but we all know it wasn't her. But because these men hated her, they did not like her, and they went ahead to betray her. It's really sad. Deceiving the people because they know, me, I wouldn't necessarily say people are gullible. They heard from the seer. The people trust you so much. There are people that trust you so much that they believe anything you say. You shouldn't abuse that trust. The fact that they tell you everything, they know that you're a custodian of the gods, and they know that whatever you say to them, they will believe. Does that mean you ride on them? Does that mean you play with their intelligence? Does that mean you deceive them? Guys, come on. That is really bad. It shouldn't be so. And that was what Musa did. Deceitful human being. You understand? Are we going to call Jilo deceitful too? Can remember that scene where she was with Lansana and husband came and she told him she took the daughter to see a medicine man. You could also call it deceitful. Of course, she deceived her husband. Then it was also deception because she needed her warrior lover to run away before her warrior husband comes home. She was lucky enough you didn't catch her there. Who knows, maybe we would have killed her, not just step on her feet. Then you could see betrayal and deceit revolving. Lamboy betrayed his brother-in-law, the king, betrayed his sister, his blood sister. It's not just this, when I came by here, A lot of us have distant relations. Some of you will just be sitting there in a class, or then your mom comes to see you, and you greet her, and she sees another student that greets her, and I say, you don't know that's your sister. You're not sister. But you didn't know that was your sister. She's your sister now. You know that uncle. That's it. A lot of you came to Bilal and realize you have almost 1 million relatives. Most of you keep meeting new ones every day. Even people you don't talk to, you get to know they're your relatives, and you're like, oh my god, are you for real? She's my sister. So, but the case of Lamboy and Yoko, they were blood. Are you getting it? It was so sad, horrible and sad, that Lamboy could go to that extent to deceive, to betray his blood sister because he didn't want her to rule. I don't know, all because she's a woman. Does it even make sense? Is it even making sense? Does it sound right to you guys? Okay, let's make progress. Of course, we have conspiracy and manipulation. We have conspiracy and manipulation. We have the bargain for power and dominance. We have colonialism and alien civilization. Of course, we can all say one or two things about these themes. We can all say one or two things about the theme of conspiracy and manipulation, bargain for power and dominance, colonialism and alien. Now let's look at colonialism and alien civilization. Can we do that? Because it was a period, the setting, colonial era. The British were colonizing us, so they put chiefs. They adopted the policy of association, where they worked hand in hand with our chiefs, our traditional rulers, to exploit us. So they worked hand in hand with Banya, and you could see Samuel Rowe. Samuel Rowe abused the power vested on him. You know that, right? He was given power, but he abused it. He abused that power. You could see the colonial masters beating our chiefs, people we reverence, people we literally worship, we bow to, we genuflect, we greet them, we bow. The ladies curtsy, the boys bow, we greet them. But the colonial masters had no regard for our customs. Colonialism, alien civilization. They say they are civilized. They called us savages. They stripped us, and they took away things that belonged to us. If you not be towards the ending, they slapped us. Of course, not literally, but it was more like a slap on the face when they took our own land and gave to another community. Ask them why they gave that community. Probably the community are loyal to them, in quote. The community probably did something they wanted. Maybe they requested for a site, a land. Maybe they found gold, or they found oil, or they found something, and so they told the chief, give us this land, we'll give you a land from Senehun. And that was what they did. Something that belonged to a chiefdom. And that was the peak. If you know, that was the peak. When the messenger brought the message that Samuel Rowe has given something that belongs to them to another community. Can you guys remember? That was the height of it. If you can remember vividly, that was, they couldn't take it anymore. They were done, like literally done. And that was why the queen couldn't take it anymore, and she just had to kill herself. They slapped us, they manipulated us, they subjected us to all sorts of harsh treatments, all in the name of exerting their dominance. Colonialism is not a time any African will want to go to. A time when, even as a citizen, you don't have the right to be a citizen until you do certain things they want you to do in your own mother's land. You cannot. How a community can have a land that belongs to them, you carry it and sell. They sold away our culture, they sold away our heritage, all because they felt we were inferior and they were superior. Whenever I talk about this issue, I get really emotional. I don't know why. It's so sad, it's so humiliating what they did to our traditional rulers. And if you notice, we worshipped them. When Samuel wants to visit, it is like the president is coming. We organize the troops, the women, the dancers, food, everything, just to welcome these people. But they'll tell you, don't touch us. When Samuel came, you know what he said? And I said, don't touch me. And he now told the soldiers to. Then they're shooting gun, just to humiliate us, to kill our self-esteem. And they succeeded. Of course they did drastically. Huge success. Guys, I hear talking about this topic of colonialism. It is not something I love to dwell on. Then bargain for power and dominance. Of course, we could see that in Lamboy. Dominance, the colonial masters, they dominated conspiracy and manipulation. No, that is basically the major themes in this play. Hope you know that even at the back of your distance you could find more themes. Theme of suicide and homicide. Of course, theme of suicide and homicide. The act of suicide and homicide is abomination that abuses the sanctity of human life. You understand? Homicide. Lamboy killed Gbanya. Lamboy and Musa killed Gbanya. And they also killed Geneba. That is the theme of suicide and homicide. Suicide, Yoko killed herself. Suicide, you understand? And it is unheard of. You know, it is more like an abomination when you carry out such a wicked act of killing another person. You can see also Musa had a history. You know, Musa had a history. He killed. There were two people that were mentioned earlier. Let's quickly find it. It's not far. Page 14. He said, the blood of Yatta's son and Mama Kadi's daughter, those who you slaughtered and whose fat you used for your bofima. You could see Musa is a murderer. He always killed the innocent people. So that is who he is. Theme of suicide. We have gender discrimination. You know, last class I was talking about misogyny. That is when, you know, and a patriarchal society, you could see gender discrimination. You know, gender sentiments. You know, it doesn't believe a woman should rule. At the beginning, hope you know that even Banya did not believe a woman should rule. It was gender discrimination. What could separate a man from a woman? What does it take to rule? It is obviously not a sex organ. It's about what is in you. So why can't a woman rule? You understand? It is crystal clear that Banya promises to hand over the throne to Yoko, but later tries to change his mind simply because Yoko is a woman. Come on. Imagine you deserve a job, you should get that job, but you can't get it because someone tells you you're a woman. Like, who does that? I don't like that. Again, the overburning anger of Lamboy and Musa that warrants the killing of Banya is known out of the fear that he will cede the throne to the leadership of a woman which they vow to stop at all costs. You know, all this thing, it doesn't boil down to their jealous of Banya. Hope you know Lamboy wasn't jealous of Banya. But no, he had to kill Banya so that Banya won't give the throne to his wife. All because a woman shouldn't rule. Serious gender bias. I don't get. Based on this premise, leadership is never an exclusive right of any particular gender, whether men or women. It is high time we reposition our mindset to accommodate the weaker gender. Weaker in quotes. We are the weaker gender. Weaker in quotes. Knowing fully well that all human beings are equal irrespective of gender status. Yes. Leadership has nothing to do with your gender, your sex organ. It has nothing to do with that. We all have the right to lead. We should be able to recognize our rights to lead. You understand? So not because you are maybe a man or a woman and you have to be the one leading and women will follow. No, it doesn't work that way. It shouldn't be. So I could talk about the theme of gender bias and gender discrimination. It is I can't lay much emphasis on that. Look at Indapi now, gender discrimination. Look at Indapi. Look at the way he treated his wife. He beat her at every slightest provocation. He's a misogynist. He did not regard his wife at any cost. But when his daughter got missing, he started crying foul as if he really cared. He never cared. He just hated the fact that, the queen took his daughter. You know, it's really sad. It's really sad. So these are some of the major things we find in this book. I hope you guys are paying attention. I hope you are listening. Now we are going to be stopping the lecture here. Like I said,